Hello everyone, I am Amod and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to explore an important JavaScript concept which confuses many JavaScript users, and that is asynchronous behavior in JavaScript. We know that JavaScript is a single threaded programming language. What does that mean? A single threaded means JavaScript can perform one task at a time. There is just one main thread which will execute our code line by line from top to bottom. But you must have heard of topics like callbacks, promises, async await, which are used to handle asynchronous behavior in JavaScript. Now, if we say that in JavaScript we have only one thread which executes your code line by line from top to bottom, then why we have these concepts like callback or promises? So JavaScript is a synchronous programming language or asynchronous programming language, or it is mixed. What is the actual concept? That we are going to clear in this video. So let's dive in. So I'm going to start with basics. I have a console.log which is printing start, and then I have another console.log which will print end. And between these two, I'm going to have one for loop where I will be starting from 0. It will go till 5 and it is going to log value of I. I'm going to run this program. So I'm using node environment to run my JavaScript program. So first let me navigate to the folder where I have this JS file, and now use node command and pass the file name. Hit enter. So you can see it printed start, then it printed all the numbers from 0 till 5 in a sequence, and at the end it has printed end. So this is very happy flow. Now instead of logging the value of I immediately, I want to put some delay there. So for that I'm going to use set timeout. I'll use arrow function. This console.log will go here and I will put wait of 2 seconds. So basically this method will produce a wait of 2 seconds before logging I. Let me rerun the program. So now you can see it printed start and then immediately end. It did not wait for this for loop to log value of I. That means it executed this statement, then this statement, and after some time, probably 2 seconds, it printed 6, and that is also 6 times. So what has happened here? And in the previous execution, it was synchronous because we see statements were executed one by one. But now it is not the case. So whatever we saw just now, that is asynchronous behavior of JavaScript. So again, we have same question, JavaScript synchronous or asynchronous, or it is mixed of both. So let's go to basics again. So first of all, JavaScript is a programming language like Java, C, Python, etc. And to run a JavaScript program, we need a software or program which can understand JavaScript syntax and rules. And that program or software is called a JavaScript engine. So basically the task of JavaScript engine is to take JavaScript code, parse it, compile or interprets it, then execute it. And whatever browsers we have like Chrome, Firefox or Safari, in those browsers we have built-in JavaScript engines. For example, in Google Chrome we have V8. And the same JavaScript engine is used in Node.js as well. In Firefox, it's SpiderMonkey, and in the Safari, it's JavaScript code. And all these JavaScript engines are written in C++. So basically, what we understand that we can run our JavaScript code in a browser. In fact, JavaScript was developed to make a web page dynamic. So if you want to run your JavaScript code in a browser, you can launch Chrome or your favorite browser. Let me launch Chrome and you can right click, go to inspect, go to console tab, and here you can type any JavaScript code, it will work. So I'm going to log my name on the console. If you hit enter, it is logging my name. We can use a for loop. So I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. Then console.log I. Hit enter. It is giving syntax error obviously because I missed I here. Hit enter again. So this time you can see it is printing numbers. So this is the way we can run JavaScript code in a browser. But we can run JavaScript code outside of a browser as well. And that is possible using Node environment. So before you run JavaScript outside a browser, you need to download and install Node.js on your system. So this is the official download page of Node.js, and you can install Node.js as per your operating system. Once installed, you can open command prompt, and here you can simply type node. So now you are into a node environment. Now you can write any JavaScript code. So I'm going to log my name again, and you can see it's logging my name. So here I am executing JavaScript program outside of a browser using node environment. You can use any code editor like VS Code, Atom, etc. So I hope you understand what is JavaScript engine, and how can we run JavaScript in a browser and outside a browser. Now, these environments, browser and node, they provide extra features or add on to the existing features of JavaScript. For example, browser provides set timeout, fetch, DOM events, alert, document, etc. And in Node.js, we have file system, server, and OS access. And these extra features provided by browser and Node are responsible for asynchronous behavior in JavaScript. So basically, in the browser mode, we need to play with the DOM. So we have many DOM related stuffs. But in the Node environment, we can create server, we can perform some operations using operating system access and all, and they provide some extra features related to those. Let's take an example of set timeout. Set timeout provided by both the environments, but this method is not part of core JavaScript. So whenever in the code any environment specific asynchronous feature is encountered, execution of that code will not happen in JavaScript main thread. So let's understand this program execution again. So when we started this program, JavaScript main thread executed this statement and it printed start on the console. Then it started executing this for loop, and for the first instance of I, it found an asynchronous method. So the execution of this set timeout will be outside of main thread. So main thread is not blocked. So without any extra waiting, it incremented I, and again it encountered set timeout. So again execution will be outside of main thread. So basically JavaScript main thread executed this for loop till it met with the exit condition. So basically when I is 6, no need to execute for loop further. And then main thread of JavaScript executed this in final statement and printed end on the console. Once 2 seconds are passed, value of I is already 6, and this console.log which prints I, it printed 6 times. Let me show you one more example. I'm going to comment all these lines, and we have a module file system in Node. So I'm going to create a variable fs and let me require file system. And in this file system, we have one method called read file, and right hand side you can see this method asynchronously reads the entire content of a file. That means when we use this method, it will not block the main thread, and the asynchronous behavior of this method will be handled using callback that I will cover in next video. But we have another method read file sync, and this method will block the main thread of JavaScript. That means it will not move to the next statement till this execution is over. Let me show you the example also. So here I'm going to pass a file path, and encoding I can pass UTF-8. Let me copy the file path. I can give anything, and let me change the path separator. And the file content I can store into a variable, maybe data. Now I want to have a console.log data loaded, and maybe I can have a simple for loop I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. And here I'm going to have console.log I and maybe one final console.log done. So let's run this program. So you can see it printed data loaded, then it is printing numbers from 0 to 5 and then finally done. It executed in the order. Now instead of using sync method, I'm going to use async method. So fs dot read file, which is async method. Now I'm going to pass the file path. Encoding will be utf-8 and then callback. So maybe error and data, you can give any name. And then here I'm going to log data loaded. Let me pass the path of the file. Now let's run this program. So here you can see first it executed the for loop, then done, and then data loaded. And now we understand the reason. Read file is an asynchronous method. JavaScript main thread did not wait for this method to finish. So it went and executed the for loop and then this console.log. Once this is done, it printed the data loaded text. So I hope you understand now when JavaScript behaves asynchronously. I'm going to cover callback, promises, async awaits in upcoming videos. But that's all in this video. If you have any doubt, please comment on this video. If you really like videos, please like, comment, subscribe and share with others. Thank you everyone.